Happy Thursday, right here, Mass listeners. Joining us today is Jason Harris, known as Coach FitProJ. Being overweight back in 2007 at the age of 30, weighing in at about 300 pounds and having a 46-inch waistline, Jason decided to make a change and has never looked back. Fast forward to now, in addition to being a commercial real estate professional, Jason is an entrepreneur and fitness professional with over 15 years of experience. He specializes in helping successful, busy people improve their health and wellness by using his three-phase program, Diet Free Bootcamp for Successful Busy People. Jason, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ashley. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I know I just gave a brief overview of the many things that you do, but I'd love if you could share with our audience more about yourself and what you do.
All right. Well, like you said, Ashley, I used to be overweight a long time ago, about 17 years ago. Uh, and I decided enough was enough. And I knew that the physical activity part of it just wasn't going to do it. Everybody does that. I knew nutrition was a huge part of it. So I sought out to find out the correct information I needed to change myself. And I did. And I fell in love with it. And I've been helping other people ever since. Yeah, nutrition is really the key. So I do that. And I'm also, like you said, commercial real estate as well, career. And I'm sure we'll get more into things.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, touching more upon the part of you with your fitness business and how you help people in that aspect, I know you mentioned that just your own journey and the own success that you experienced is what influenced and inspired you to help others. But I'd love if you could talk more about how that realization came about and what the process of turning that passion into a business was like for you.
All right. Yeah. One of the major things was I changed myself. And of course, that really excited me how you can manipulate or change the way you look and feel by what you actually put into your body and how you move. It's pretty
Mm,
cool. And what really made me want to help other people, besides liking to help other people anyway, was I saw a lot of misinformation and misdirection out there. Um, I fell into a little bit of it early on, and it's very frustrating when you're overweight and don't want to be overweight anymore.
mm,
It's a horrible feeling for those of you that have been overweight or are overweight. And when you put forth so much effort, and I've seen people put forth so much effort, and they have this drive, they have everything needed, but they're just going in the wrong direction. It's almost like they want to go to California, right? But they have the navigation and map to get to Florida instead. No matter how hard they try, they're not going to make it to California. And
mm.
that's what I've seen a lot of people just trying to or putting forth all this effort in the wrong direction and not getting results from it, and then becoming either defeated or or even hopeless, and I've even despair even at some points, and they just say forget about it, and they just fade off, and the things get worse, and it doesn't have to be like that. The other thing that really the misinformation part anyway. So I saw a lot of people go to quote unquote professionals, fitness professionals. I like to call them fitness unprofessionals. A lot of them have, a lot of them have good intentions, if you will. They want to help people, but they just don't know what they're doing. Um, and I've seen a lot of people go that route to people like that have good intention, like I said, but they don't know what they're doing, and then they fail, and they just get worse and worse. And
Mm.
I was sick of seeing that. It doesn't have to be like that. It really doesn't. What needs to be done is actually simple. It's just not easy to do. All the information is out there. It's all out there, but it's the application of the information that is the issue, and that's where coaching comes in. So that's the biggest one of the a couple of the biggest reasons why I went into coaching to help people, because misinformation, people going to the wrong people, and it doesn't need to be like that. And people, I don't like to see people in despair when they don't have to be.
Absolutely. And I love that analogy you gave of people trying to get to California but driving to Florida. And no matter what they do, just because of the way they're following, they're stuck. And so they can't have that change. And I can imagine too that when you mention misdirection and misinformation, that perhaps likely includes people getting generalized advice. That's something I see online in a variety of industries, whether it's the finance industry, even marketing like me, fitness like you. People follow generalized advice that's not custom to their lifestyle, their goals, their situation. And so that's not going to be helpful to them either.
No, that's exactly right. And like I said, it's just the information is out there and it's just all over the place. And like I said, a lot of fitness unprofessionals, they mean well, but they don't know what they're doing, and people are falling into that. And it's one of my pet peeves. I really hate
Mm.
that. There's no need for that.
So it's a good thing that your clients have you then to be able to guide them in the right direction and ensure that they're working with someone who will support them, because it is a vulnerable place to be in and a vulnerable journey to go through. And so having someone that you can trust and that you know has your best interests at heart is crucial.
Yeah, I am really the coach that talks the talk and walks the walk. I've been there, done that, and now I help others do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And with your three-phase program, the diet-free bootcamp for successful busy people, I'd love to hear more about what that entails and also how you formulated that in terms of creating this great formula that helps people who are in that current situation.
Well, I made this program, Diet Free Boot Camp for Successful Busy People, is something that a program that I created with all of my years of experience, personally, myself, and helping other people get to where they want to be. I've put it all together, and I really cater to professionals and entrepreneurs like myself. My program, Diet Free Bootcamp for Successful Busy People, has four pillars of achievement, I like to call them. Most nutrition programs or fitness programs have nutrition habits and physical activity that are dealt with, right? But I take it a step further with these other two things: stress management as well as recovery
Mm.
measures. Those two things are very important, especially when you're dealing with entrepreneurs and professionals like myself, never mind just the regular person. So those are the four pillars of success, of achievement, I call them: nutrition habits, physical activity, stress management, recovery measures. That is what we work on within the program.
And I think it's great that it takes almost like a holistic approach in terms of looking at the whole solution. So, not just honing in on one thing and expecting one change to be able to reach those changes that you're looking for, but more so looking at those four pillars and those four parts and knowing that in order to get the results you want, it really requires your attention and your effort in multiple places.
Yes, yes, it does. And a lot of programs are lacking on the stress management and the recovery measures, even not just for entrepreneurs and professionals, but just for the regular everyday person. I mean, regular everyday people are busy as well, and they deal with stress, of course, and they deal with recovery. And uh, that's not something that I see in a lot of programs. So that's what kind of makes this program, well, that does make this program special as well, is those other two components: stress management and recovery measures. They're very important for progress, especially for long-term and consistency,
Mm.
because it's not a, and what you had mentioned about programs out there like cookie cutter, for instance, not being custom. A lot of people falling into like the generalized information. A lot of that generalized information does not have any context to it. When you bring an actual individual into the information, the information may have to change for them. So it's all about context. And whenever anybody asks me a question, a lot of times about fitness or nutrition, when someone specifically asks me a question, I always say it depends. I'm not trying
Yeah.
to. It depends, and I ask further questions and then give them an informed answer. I don't like to give, and I don't give cookie cutter answers. I always say it depends and ask for more information and then answer the question.
Yeah. And I think that's a great approach to take. And also, too, this is something that I experience in the work that I do, but someone will see results that one person achieved, and then they're like, oh, well, this person did it. I want to achieve that now. And so it can be kind of hard to balance expectations, is really what it comes down to. And like you said, be able to ask further questions so that you can share an informed answer based on that person and the multiple factors that affect whether what they're looking into ultimately.
No, that's exactly right. It has to do with the individual. So questions are answered on an individual basis because people are so different. People are different in their body chemistry, their goals, where they're at currently right now, where they want to go. I mean, there's so many variables involved, and it really is a custom thing, even, I mean, not only physically, but mentally as well.
Mm.
The three-phase this diet-free boot camp for successful busy people, the program that I've made, there's three phases in it, and there's a reason for that. Phase one is called metabolic baseline, and that's where, together we'll become aware of where you're at now, and then you'll achieve your first results and continue progressing without overwhelm by building a few new skills. So it's not really intense in the beginning. We want to set you up for success. So we'll focus on getting you ready to step on the accelerator by taking an honest look at your nutrition habits, physical activity, stress management, and your recovery measures. We'll put some into place because generally people don't have things put into place to deal with stress or recovery. So that's phase one. And then phase two is called the results accelerator. And that's when we can step on the accelerator only after we get a baseline for your metabolism and you have built the necessary skills needed to move forward. So full steam ahead with phase two. We're going to accelerate the results and keep them coming by employing weekly focuses and deadlines that will help people stay on track and ultimately reach their goals without overwhelm. And then the third phase is called lifestyle integration. After taking your foot off the accelerator and getting all those results, you will absolutely have some challenges and obstacles that you need to overcome, in order to finally achieve a successful lifestyle integration. You're not alone. Obtain the skills needed to keep your results for good and get the support. That's what lifestyle integration does. You get the guidance and accountability that you need through checking calls. We have weekly emails, private Facebook group access, and other things too. So it really is a three-phase program. And I set expectations at the front so that people know what their journey, or have an idea of how their journey is going to go as far as length of time and what factors make it go quicker, what factors can slow it down, that sort of thing. But there's always assurance that they always know where they're at and where they're going to go, or where they need to go the next steps.
And I love that a big focus of what you share and include within your program is that accountability with everything that you do. I think that that's something that a lot of people struggle with, is with anything that they do in life, and something they want to improve is just once they do it, how they can stick with it. And especially with that piece, the lifestyle integration, being comfortable with getting used to it and making sure that it lasts and having those tools to be successful, I think is huge. So it's awesome that you really focus on that accountability and support piece, so that way if people feel overwhelmed or they might be teetering off a little bit, they have someone like yourself to go back to for some help.
Yeah, that lifestyle integration phase really does solidify the results staying with you, and having the knowledge and the comfort of having a good relationship or a better relationship with food. Because a lot of people that do different programs or diet programs, of which this is not a diet program at all, but people that do these diet programs end up going through and getting these results, and then they just yo-yo because they didn't build skills that they need to keep them, and they didn't really think about different aspects that people should think about when they get to lifestyle integration. And that is how to keep your results and have a good, like I said, have a good relationship with food and not worry about, oh no, should I eat this? Shouldn't I eat that? It shouldn't be like that at all. It doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah, I love that. And I know too that with people who might have chronic health conditions or chronic illnesses, that can also contribute to weight problems that they might have. So is that something that you're able to support people as well, as looking at conditions or illnesses they might have and being able to work with them in that capacity?
Absolutely. That's why I have referral partners in the fitness space.
Mm.
So if somebody has an issue, like a clinical issue, or I stay in my lane, let's put it that way. I have a registered dietitian, Tiana Celestia, out of Beacon Hill in Boston, and she is phenomenal at gut health and anything to do with any clinical issues as far as nutrition is concerned. So if I have somebody that I see having an issue that's out of my scope, then I go
Mm.
ahead and I refer out, and I have those referral partners for that.
I think that's
Absolutely.
smart too. Yeah, is having your own expertise, but then knowing when it's time to bring in another expert. And that brings so much credibility to you, where people know that ultimately they're not getting access to just you. They have your whole network and connections of people who specialize in all different things, depending on what they need.
Oh yeah, we got a whole team. Absolutely.
Love that. And in terms of focusing on successful, busy people, because I know that's really your core group, what influenced you to focus on that target market specifically? Were you a part of that group, successful, busy people? Maybe you see that group being in need the most of their health and wellness and their overall lifestyle. I'd love to hear more about that.
That's an awesome question. So I love working with entrepreneurs and professionals. And athletes too. One of the major reasons is because their drive. They know what it takes to
Mm,
succeed and to get things done. So that is one of the major reasons why I like to deal with entrepreneurs and professionals. The other reason is they seem to have everything else in order. They have their finances in order. They have their family usually in order. They have, pretty much anything they want. They're doing what they want to do, but they don't have their health. And
mm.
I love to bring them that final thing. And like I said, entrepreneurs and professionals just have that drive in them, and I love working with them because they know what it takes to get done, and I guide them to get it done. It's awesome.
I love that. And especially too, what I've noticed just with myself, when you take care of yourself, you perform better. So if you do want to continue to be that high achieving individual or even reach bigger goals than what you've already done, focusing on yourself and having that health and wellness plan in place is crucial for being able to maintain the capacity that you're at or even exceed that.
Exactly, that's exactly right. Professionals and entrepreneurs, as well as athletes, like athletes, they have the drive as well, and they know what it takes to get done, and they're getting paid for it, right? So they really have to make sure that they, do what they need to do. Entrepreneurs and professionals, another, like you just said, they do understand that they do perform at a higher level when they are fit, because when you are
Mm,
physically fit, that usually translates into being mentally fit, especially after going through my program with the stress management and the recovery measure pillars. That's having people feel awesome right off the bat, better than they did by just taking care of that low hanging fruit of stress and recovery that they don't deal with. Just putting some simple skills, learning simple skill sets and putting recovery measures and stress management into their program, it works wonders. They think clearer. I mean, they've said so many different things. They feel better, more energy, think sharper. I mean, all the above. You hit the nail on the head when it comes to professional entrepreneurs and being fit and helping their mental, absolutely, and perform at a high level.
exactly. And I also really love that your program does have that stress management piece because, like you mentioned earlier, your program is very different from the ones out there. And that's something I haven't seen before. It's just really honing in on stress management. And I know that for me personally, sometimes when I get really stressed, then I veer off the healthy lifestyle choices I had been on. And so I think it's great that, especially for these high achievers and these really driven people that you work with, that's definitely a key component.
Yes, everybody loves it. They loves it. They didn't even think of it as being part of their program. And when I mentioned it, And then when they actually dive into it and do some of the stuff, they can't believe it.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of our listener base is that high achievers, those entrepreneurs, those people with successful careers. And so, for anyone who's listening to this episode and they're like, wow, what Jason's sharing, I need to really make a change with my life. I'm feeling uncomfortable. I want to feel good in my skin and ensure I have a healthy lifestyle. With that being said, what would your advice be for someone who's looking to get started, ultimately take that leap and start focusing on themselves?
Oh, that's easy. All they have go to diet free fat loss solutions for successful busy people, the private Facebook group, diet free fat loss solutions for successful busy people. I put on there free actionable info and answer questions and give people actionable steps to do to start making them feel better right away for free. I
Love
give
that.
away stuff for free in that group. It's all for people. I'm bringing value to people, okay, in that group for free.
Right.
So if they go there, that's a great place to start. They can ask specific questions, and I've answered questions on a live video for people before that have asked them in the group as well. I do that too. So that it's a great place to go to get free actionable info without, you know, you see results without paying for anything, essentially.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
And then it's a great place to start because they'll be able to scroll through, see all the content you shared previously, other questions people have asked. It's like a great little hub.
Yes, I also I do challenges on there, give away money. Just had a 21-day Kickstart Your Fitness challenge to get people to, start being consistent with their fitness. So I gave away a $50 Amazon gift card at the end of that. Got great feedback. Everybody loved the accountability of it and whatnot. I even did the challenge myself too. I couldn't win the prize, but I did the challenge too because I am the coach that talks the talk and walks the walk. I had to jump in there. So there's other things, giveaways and whatnot in that group as well. So it's a fun place to be.
Lots of fun stuff for sure. And along those lines, what do you love most about the work that you do within your fitness business?
Well, I can answer that by quoting my mission statement. The mission statement of FitProJ Coaching LLC is to empower as many people as possible to take control of their fitness and nutrition so that future generations thrive, not just survive. So this isn't
Mm.
only about the adults here, okay? Because these successful entrepreneurs and professionals usually have families, all right? And kids are usually involved. I want to help the adult so that it trickles down to the children and their children and other generations. I want fitness to start with them
Mm.
and continue on with future generations. That's my legacy. I am helping the adults to ultimately help the children to help other generations. So we can break this horrible thing we have going on in this country as far as metabolic disease and the number one killer of people. It's unbelievable. It shouldn't even be like that. It's all in our hands.
I love that approach, especially because it kind of reminds me of the whole concept of monkey see, monkey do. So if kids see their parents making healthy choices and prioritizing themselves and focusing on self-care, they'll be more likely to do that themselves and repeat those patterns moving forward.
Well, what happened? What happens, right? Somebody's born. You have a baby, right? The baby, what do they eat? Either very nutritious breast milk or formula, correct? Very nutritious. Then they graduate to baby food, which tends to be nutritious and whatnot, right? Then all of a sudden, we're at chicken fingers and french fries and mac and cheese. Why does that happen and when does that happen? But it happens and then things go downhill. Now
Mm,
that child is going to end up probably being overweight, and then when they get to junior high and high school, that it's not a good thing. So like you said, that's right, monkey see monkey do, right? So if the parents are doing what it takes or what they need, they're going to go ahead and the kids are going to pick up those skills, and then their kids and their kids. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm creating legacy of health and fitness to anybody that I deal with.
I love that, especially because I feel like sometimes parents don't always care to their own needs or tend their own needs, but they would do absolutely anything for their kids. And so when you
Mhm.
phrase it like that, I'm supporting your legacy and making it possible for your kids and your grandkids and your great grandkids to have a healthy life, then it almost changes their perspective and gives them a why about why they're going to pursue that path and start to focus on themselves more.
Yeah, give them a little bit of intrinsic motivation, right?
Mm.
You're doing for yourself, but in reality, you're not just doing for yourself. You're doing for your children, and like you said, they're your grandkids and so forth. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. And so, in addition to being a fitness coach that you focus on, as we've shared so much about during this episode, you also work in commercial real estate. And so, I'd love to hear more about your journey with that career and what inspired you to pursue it.
I did residential real estate way back in 2003 to 2008, down in South Florida, and I was very successful. The market, of course, went down in late 2000 into 2008, which caused me to get out of real estate. I had an opportunity. I was actually working with another real estate broker at another brokerage. He had opened up with his sons an Anytime Fitness franchise, and they wanted me to come in and do nutrition coaching and also manage the personal training department. So I ended up doing that. And then from there, that's where my fitness kind of started. Then I always wanted to get back into real estate, and I found that opportunity when I came back to Massachusetts in late 2000, July of 2018. I came back to Massachusetts, and late 2019, early 2000, I actually met Angela Nuss through Toastmasters International. I'm a member of Spirited Speakers and Toastmasters. For anyone that doesn't know, Toastmasters is an international nonprofit international organization that helps with leadership skills and public speaking. And they have different membership chapters all over, everywhere, all over the United States, all over the world. And I'm a member of the Middleborough chapter, Spirited Speakers. They assign you a mentor, and Angela Nuss was my mentor. And we hit it off. We did very well. She helped me navigate through Toastmasters. And I had asked her, I know that her dad owned a real estate brokerage, a commercial real estate brokerage, and that she worked in there as well. And I wanted to get back into real estate. So I had asked her if there's any room or if I could do that. And ended up having a Zoom meeting with her dad, and it went very well. And I ended up getting my Massachusetts real estate license, and that's all she wrote. I'm back into commercial real estate. This is about 2 years now.
Love that. So what's interesting is that when you were your beginning of your real estate career, it was in residential, and now you're in commercial. What
Yes.
made you want to have that change? Did you like feel more inspired or more interested in commercial real estate? I'd love to hear more about kind of what made that switch happen.
A couple of reasons. Well, one of the major reasons is J Nuss Realty Group. The opportunity that I got happened to be a commercial real estate brokerage. And residential, as you know, and everybody else knows, it's kind of saturated. Not kind of, it is saturated. It is saturated. So I like the challenge of commercial real estate versus residential real estate. I like the fact that there are not a lot of commercial real estate agents around the area that I'm in down here. And like I said, I love the challenge. It's a lot more sophisticated. I get to use my brain more. It's more of a challenge. I think that's why.
I like that approach. And I can also imagine that with having residential real estate clients, I can imagine that you probably have a lot at once because it's almost like a quicker life cycle, depending it might seem. But with commercial real estate clients, it seems like that deeper relationship just from the real estate agents I know who are in that space.
Yeah, residential real estate, a lot quicker transactions. I mean, I still have a lot of friends that I've made when I did residential real estate, but commercial real estate, it's a lot less emotion involved,
Yeah.
which can be nice. A little bit more transactional, but us at JNS Realty Group, we make it a bit personal because we really do care about the clients, not just about the transaction. We're all about helping people. Um, but yeah, it takes a lot longer for these commercial real estate transactions versus residential transactions for sure. And as far as finding the property that's off market, there's a lot involved in research and due diligence as far as zoning, overlays, usages. I mean, there's a lot to unpack and a lot of variables in commercial real estate versus residential real estate for sure.
I can imagine. And I can also imagine that hopefully commercial real estate hours are better with residential real estate. It seems like your weekends and nights are gone with open houses and meeting with clients.
Yeah, that's neat. That's right. So residential real estate, yep, open houses. We don't have open houses in commercial real estate. It doesn't work like that. So the weekends are generally free, but myself owning and operating a nutrition fitness business online as well as being a commercial real estate agent, I do work through the weekends too. I mean, I do a lot of my check-ins on the weekend. So I'm working all the time, either in the business or on the business.
And that actually is a good way to segue into another question that I had is just how you balance the two, how you can balance everything that you do with commercial real estate and also how you balance your fitness business.
Oof, very carefully. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. Systems are key. Systems are
Mm,
key because with the nutrition fitness business, it's not just me. Yeah, I am coaching I'm wearing all the hats really at this point.
Mm.
I'm not only a coach, I'm an admin, I'm a sales guy, I'm everything, right? Marketing, everything. And as far as commercial real estate is concerned, you got that going on too. Luckily, they kind of mesh together as far as networking is concerned. Commercial real estate has a lot of networking involved, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But um, just meeting people and going places and being fit like I am, and I'm 6'3", I kind of stick out like a sore thumb at some of these events and whatnot. And mostly people are unfit, and I would go to these events all the time. I go to these events all the time, and uh, somebody always says something like, look at your arms," or "How much do you bench?" "Oh, this guy works out," that sort of thing.
Hmm.
So what I ended up doing is I found a way to mesh both of them together. So I introduced myself in the commercial real estate world as, "Hi, I'm Jason Harris, unofficially the fittest commercial real estate professional south of Boston." All right. So that's my brand in my commercial real estate in the commercial real estate space. It helps people remember me and who I
Mm.
am. And I'm not exactly speaking to the fitness business, but being fit, questions naturally come up, and then I can go ahead and, oh, by the way, I also own and operate a nutrition fitness business. And I do cater to professional entrepreneurs like yourself. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's almost like the concept of killing two birds with one stone, being able to take the opportunities and events that you have and be able to promote both careers within that and appease to both the projects that you focus on.
And that's right, and be remembered as well. So
Yeah.
balance, so that's part of the balance, is meshing them both together, the brand and everything together, to create conversation, as well as systems being in place. Systems meaning, when I do hire assistant coaches and admins and whatnot, I can see what all of my help is doing because I
Mm.
have systems in place. It's all electronic, and I know what clients do and what. No one falls through the cracks, because part of it really is my owner intent of FitProJ Coaching LLC is to build a coaching practice that centers around having a profound impact on enhancing other people's lives, and to provide an awesome client, partnership, employee, contractor, and vendor experience.
Mm.
So I want everybody to have an awesome experience that deals with FitProJ coaching.
That's a great approach to have. And with the systems that you have, does that also include setting certain days and hours that you'll meet with clients? Do you kind of have like a structured schedule in that sense?
Yeah, I have certain blocked off time to do, like I said, mostly on the weekends. I'm doing a lot of the check-ins right now. The systems are still being built and tested and improved all the time. So, like I said, it's an ongoing thing, and it's improving and becoming more efficient as time goes on. So, yes, all those systems are adapting to what comes up and what issues happen, so that next time something happens, I have a better system in place. So it's ever evolving, the
Mm.
systems. Mhm.
Absolutely. And do you always see yourself having both careers, or do you think that maybe one day you would focus all in on one?
No, probably not. What I see in the future probably is, I have a 28-year-old son, and I would like him ultimately to be the head of FitProJ Coaching LLC. I'll always be the face and doing most of the sales and be the brand of it for sure. I'll always be doing that, and I will always be in commercial real estate because I'm building a book of business. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
So, and the whole key to, well, any real estate really, but commercial real estate as well, is to build up a book of business and data over time. And that's what I am doing, and I'm not going anywhere.
And by
And
bringing in
commercial real estate.
yeah, and by bringing in your son, then you're playing out the value that you mentioned earlier of passing on to your legacy. I love that.
Exactly. That's all part of it.
Everything's so intertwined.
Yes, yes, it is.
And as you mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, with all of the networking events that you attend and groups that you're a part of, I'd love to hear more about the organizations that you're a member of and also how they've supported you in both of your careers.
Oh my, I don't really want to name, because I don't want to miss any of them, because there are so many. There really are. But I can tell you that each and every there's some overlap with some individuals and a lot of these groups, and some not.
Mm.
But I will say that just being out there in the community, it is a small world. It's a
Yeah.
small world. And as long as you're kind, you have good intentions, and you do good, there are other people out there, believe it or not, that are actually like that. And they tend to gravitate towards others like that. And that I've seen a lot of that. And when that happens, you naturally, just people are naturally helping other people out. And that's how referrals even happen, just naturally. I'm not out there shopping for referrals or anything. I'm just out there just trying to help people out, and it just comes back just naturally. That's all.
Absolutely. It reminds me of one of my favorite mindsets, I guess, is the best thing to call it. But the whole idea of you attract the energy you put out.
Awesome. That's exactly right.
Yeah. And especially to going back to your point of consistency that you mentioned at the very beginning of this episode, it's the same thing with networking. When you consistently go to the events with the same organization every month or twice a month, however, whatever their cadence is, then people start to remember you. And that's what really helps with just growing your connections and building relationships with others.
No, I totally agree. That's exactly, you got to show up. You have to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do show up, people do notice. And when you don't show up, people know, you want to be top of people's mind. Definitely. So
Absolutely.
you gotta show up.
Absolutely. And so with that, focusing on all of the local pieces and organizations, what would you say are your favorite local businesses to support?
Favorite local, all of them. No. Uh, you know what? I want to answer this question a little different because I don't want to.
Go for
I
it.
don't have anybody really single out. So the way I look at it is, what I do is I go to the smaller businesses before I go to the bigger businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I seek out the smaller local business first before going to the bigger business. So I just live I live like that, and that's kind of what comes out. So whatever local business that happens to be, at least it's not a big conglomerate. I mean, every now and again, you got to hit those up, but
Mm-hmm.
whenever possible, I try to hit up like local restaurants, local repair places, just local anything.
Yeah, great
So as far as a
concept.
favorite, I can't really, I can't comment. I can't comment on that.
That's a good tip to share with people, though. That's one thing I always try to be mindful of. Where if I want a nice coffee, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to Coffee Milano right here in Middleborough. Not gonna go to Starbucks or Dunkin'. Just try to support
Exactly.
local.
Yes. Coffee Milano is excellent in Middleborough on Center Street, if everybody knows. There's one right there.
Yes, the best. Jason, this has been such an awesome episode, and I've really enjoyed having the opportunity to share everything that you do with our listeners. And I'd love if you could share where they can find you online in case they'd like to connect with you further.
Sure, the best thing to do would be on Facebook because most people are on Facebook. I mean, I'm on Instagram and TikTok and things like that, but the best place to go is my private Facebook group, Diet Free Fat Loss Solutions for Successful Busy People. Like I said, a ton of free, actionable content on there, and you can ask questions. It's just a great place to get information for free that
Perfect.
you can they'll actually help.
And I will link to that in the show notes. That way, our listeners can click through and join your group from there and ask whatever questions they have. But thank you so much again for being a guest on today's show.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I want to leave you with something though, Ashley.
Yeah.
My company, FitProJ Coaching LLC, has three core values. And you see it all over my social media when I post everywhere. It's keep it simple, keep it moving, and keep it real. And I want to define those real quick. So keep it simple, don't overcomplicate things and get overwhelmed. Break things down to smaller, doable parts and do them. Keep it moving. Don't ever stagnate or get analysis paralysis. Always strive to keep moving forward, no matter how challenging things get or how slow the results come. And then lastly, keep it real. Don't ever try to justify bad choices or fool yourself. Truly take an honest look, not judgmental, at yourself and take some detailed notes. So keep it simple, keep it moving, and keep it real.
Love it. Thanks for sharing, Jason.
No, you're welcome, Ashley. Thanks for having me.